Hey everybody, I'm already at it, working this morning. It is just past 9 a.m., 9:03, and I'm working on an issue with the website that is related to Google EEAT. EEAT stands for Experience, Expertise, Authoritativeness, and Trustworthiness. I don't know if anybody knows or cares about what that is, but I'm doing a lot of it this year. It's been around for the last couple years, and it seems like I'm just adding it to websites all over the place. And essentially what it is, I mean, it's great for your SEO, but essentially what it is proving that whoever's writing content on a website is, has experience, has the expertise, is authoritative, and is trustworthy. So kind of makes sense, especially in this day and age. So Google rewards that. And of course, there's a bunch of bad actors already out there. I think probably the biggest bad actor, it's not even like a secret. But I don't want to name names in case of liability, but it is a very large sports website that had a traditional print aspect. If you know, you know. I've had some run-ins with them in the past. Nothing major, but they pretty much are all digital now, and they create a bunch of fake AI-generated authors, and they keep. Once Google starts dinging them, they create new authors and just reattribute all their articles to these new authors. So it's kind of just a constant game of whack-a-mole, where the rankings on their website go up, and then Google figures out, the bots and the algorithm figure out that this is fake. They start to drag the results back down. They switch get rid of that user, create a new user, it goes back up. It's silly. It just, again, with everything with the web, just for search engine rankings, like, just do a good job. Just create good stuff that people want to read and interact with, and Google will take care of you. Anyway, I've been doing, or kind of implementing this a lot, which is basically with WordPress, which is primarily what I work with. You just create author pages, and that's all kind of built in. Now, where it gets tricky, what if you have authors that you do not want to have access to the back end of WordPress? So if you are a user of WordPress, you can just create them as authors. Or if you're an administrator, you are an author, you get an author page. But what if there are people that just don't know WordPress, are just contributing content, but they're like sending a Word document essentially to somebody that then posts it on the website. They're still an expert, but we don't want to give them access to the website. So the people that made WordPress automatic did kind of think this through a little bit, sort of half-ass. I shouldn't say half-ass. It works. It just, I think it needs some improvements now. And when I think they built it, it was not meant to do all of this. They have a plugin called Co-Authors Plus, which basically you can create users, and then users that don't have access, and you can attribute those users to posts, and then they look like they've written the post. Where it gets complicated, and the complications that I've run into, are when you want to have an author and a contributor. So I set up the contributors in Co-Authors Plus, and then the author usually as a actual author on the site, unless it gets super complicated. And then I have created my own custom post types just for authors, which it starts getting complicated. And Co-Authors Plus, essentially, you are not actually an author in the traditional sense of the word in WordPress. You are in a custom post type that we're associating articles back to that custom post, which is an author. So I'm dealing with an issue today where I've got everything working just fine, and then I'm dealing with Yoast, which I'm not in love with. Yoast was great, but it's starting to get really bulky. Yoast is an SEO plugin, if you don't know what it is. It's free. I would say most people use it. I've actually been getting really good results with Rank Math and Rank Math Pro. And that was purely by accident. I had a client come over that had been using it, and as I investigated it and was starting to update with it, it was really good. It's lightweight, it's really comprehensive. But anyways, I'm stuck with Yoast in this one. And so for the author pages I created, it doesn't add a canonical tag, which I need, and a canonical tag just says, hey, this is the link. It's, again, with SEO, it's not one thing that kills your rankings, but it's a bunch of little things, and that's a little thing that just, it's dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So I got it, I wrote a function that like added a canonical to those pages. And then I was trying to figure out none of the co-authors plus contributors were being added to the author sitemap. And I spent all day yesterday trying to figure out how to add them. I cannot add them to the Yoast author sitemap. Again, if you don't know what that is, most websites have a sitemap.xml. It's just an XML file that is readable by search engines. And it became a thing. I mean, it's been a while now, at least 15, maybe 20 years ago. I can't remember the exact date when sitemap.xml became a thing, but Yoast generates it for you automatically. And then it also will generate like a post sitemap, a pages sitemap, author sitemap. My workaround, because I couldn't get it added, is I created a contributor sitemap, and it's all my contributors, and that worked really well. I didn't get that done until late last night, so I am finishing that up today because there's 2 authors in the Co-Authors Plus plugin that are actual authors on the website, and they are the main contributors to this website. They're essentially the editors of the website. So I need to take them out of the contributors sitemap and just have them be on the author's sitemap, if that makes sense. If it sounds complicated, it kind of is, but it also isn't. When I had to create those 2 users in Co-Authors Plus and then link them to their existing author pages, which all works. I mean, like Co-Authors Plus does have that built into it. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. That seems like I've been talking a lot about a very weird web problem that doesn't really matter to anybody, but this stuff does matter. And it's something I think about a lot. And so I've been writing a lot of custom functions to work around these issues. Yeah, I'm sure like in 2 to 3 years, this will all be not a big deal. Someone will have, it'll be a piece of software, or WordPress itself will figure it out and plan on that and like add in those different capabilities. But for now, and this has happened throughout my career in the web. Again, I've been doing this since 1996. And it's always the case where there's like a new feature that we need to add to websites, and then we have to kind of duct tape everything in to make it work, and then software catches up. So I think it's just a matter of time before there will be either like a third-party plugin solution that takes care of it, or adequately. There are solutions out there that don't handle it adequately. Or there will be like, WordPress core itself will handle it. But yeah, that's going to be my day. So I got to get those 2 users removed. And then I have to continue some updates for a new site that we're building for a sports team, a professional sports team. Just some minor revisions. They're really happy with it. And then I'm sure that'll take me most of the day, and by 5 o'clock, I gotta get my next page done for See You in Hell. So it'll be See You in Hell page 20 of chapter 4. And yeah, that's it. Then I'll post everything back up tomorrow. So I think that's it for today. We're at 10 minutes. That's pretty long. If you're at all interested in this, glad. Hopefully that explains a little bit. And it kind of shows you like how many hats I wear during a day. Like I switch from, writing comics to drawing comics to post-production on the comic to, those are all individual jobs in some cases. I do all of them. And then now I'm, writing PHP functions for a very specific Google use case scenario for SEO. So I love all of it. I think this is super fun. One of the reasons why I wanted to transition to doing development full time. I had been a designer for 30 years almost. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And this was always kind of a weak spot for me. I've learned a lot, and I continue to learn a lot. So it's been great. Anyways, sorry. Thank you if you made it this far. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this daily. I wanted to do it daily at least to start, just to get in the habit of doing it. So that's all. Talk soon. Thanks.